right, morning, guys. Welcome to Modern Athlete. It's the 6th of March, and today we got an incredible guest, Ipeleng Khunou. Nice to see you virtually. Been a while since I've seen you. The last time was Absa Run Your City series in Tshwane. How are you doing, boss?
Richard, I'm super glad to see you out of your cow suit.
You're not often that happens, eh?
Yeah,
Good to hear from you, my brother. How are you doing? You all right?
I'm super. Obviously, I'm excited. Two Oceans is around the corner, so I'm excited.
How's the training been going for that?
Training is never meant to be easy, Richard. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
So I think for those that don't know you, I mean, tell us your other name that you're known for.
Yes. Richard, I'm known as Crazy Legs because I smash limits. I don't hold back on anything in life. So I enjoy pushing pushing myself to what doctors would normally say I wouldn't be able to do, because obviously I was born without balance, a condition called septo-optic dysplasia. So each day I run, for me it's a celebration. Yeah.
I mean, obviously so you spent your whole life like this, so you don't know any different to what you do.
Yes, that's the thing. I think the only reason how, when I notice that, okay, I'm doing something out, is when you meet a new doctor that obviously is new, to your environment, and then they tell you just how, how much odds you are going against. But I'm enjoying life. That has never really bothered me.
I mean, so you grew up with this, been on crutches the whole life. What else? I mean, have you been were you in wheelchairs? How does it work?
Richard, here's a funny thing. So, I grew up, I was a kid with the most toys. So my mother, from the early on stage, she made sure that I had toys. But what that also did is, I had a lot of friends. So we would go and play outside. As much as I had toys, but I enjoyed playing outside. Funny enough, when I was growing up, because of I use momentum when I walk, I struggle to walk, but I would run without my crutches, because obviously you lean forward and you go, and that's me pretty much. I've always ran, in my life. Yeah.
So when did the running bug bite?
Ooh, this was in 2016, when I weighed about 125 plus. I was overweight. I was working in corporate. I was staying in Joburg, but obviously Joburg is in public transport. You're stuck in traffic and so on. Funny enough, I had two gym memberships of two different gyms at the time, but I just couldn't get to a gym because going home was like 2 hours and so on. So I ran. I think it was a kilometer the first morning, and by the Friday it was like a 5 kilometer. And the rest is history, as they say.
So I mean, you obviously had some visions and some goals. When you started off, what was the goal? I mean, you start up on the crutches and you're overweight. So obviously you wanted to lose weight. But what was the goal? Was it a 5K? Was it a 10K? What did you have in mind?
So I had a friend who was a marathon runner, but I didn't think it would get into running, like, marathons and so on. So for me, it was just, let's just see if I can improve my mobility, because at the time what was happening was, my crutches were breaking quite a lot. So the doctors are like, we're gonna put you on diabetes medication and so on. I was like, nah, I don't like pills in general. So for me, I think the first thing was just to be fit, but the running bug bit me, so I asked this guy to sign me up for my first race, which was Omdidam. So yeah.
So your first race was Omdidam. What was the distance there?
He signed me for 10K. I was not impressed because I wanted to run the 21, but I'm glad. I'm glad I ran the 10K, because wow, I was not prepared. It's one thing to run when you are running at home, but running at a race, using the sachets for the first time, drinking water. I saw flames the first water points, because I think I must have drank something like 4 water sachets, and the cramps hit, and I was like, oh my word. Where's my life cover and all those things, because wow. And then I think at the second one, as people were wetting themselves with water, I took all the water sachets and obviously wet myself. And obviously, using crutches, then you start sliding. So it was it was a real learning curve. But yeah, I came out of it better. And yeah, funny enough, at that race, that's where I ran with that's where I had my first contact with Gerda Steyn. I didn't run with Gerda at the time, but I ran with her parents. So yeah, it's a very special race, Yeah.
So obviously you got some good memories there.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, that's something that we obviously don't even think about. When you're going past you going past somebody else, people look at it and they see you on the crutches, but you don't stop and think, hang on a second, how much more do you have to slow down at the water points? Because you can't be having a sachet while still going. So obviously
Yeah,
you've got to like stop, have the sachet, then continue because you obviously need your balance and the mobility. So
yeah.
it's pretty time consuming being at a water point.
Yes, I found that out the hard way when I ran London in 2023, and it was a bit of an issue. I had a support runner luckily, but even then, because it was the first time that I was running with her, normally if a support runner knows me well, they have to pour water in my mouth while I run, and so on. So it was a learning curve for me and her, but it's a bit different, and also one of the reasons why you can't get closer to the water point is it tends to get quite wet and slippery. So I literally have to avoid the water points. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What type? I mean, obviously, so you do your training, but I mean, yeah, gym work must be a pretty big thing for you, surely. The strength in
Yes.
your hands and your arms.
Yes. So we focus a lot on the upper body strength and obviously my the balancing stuff. So yeah, we do that. I think I do that something like three times a week at the sports medical services where I work with. I don't have a coach, so I work with bios, sports physicians, and all the medics that you can think of in the sports environment.
And then take me through like a regular training week for you. What does a training week consist of?
All right. I love morning runs. So my day starts off at 4:30 in the morning, where I will run, come back, go to the sports medical service at Loftus, and that's where I will do my strength training. I get to sit on an electric chair called FMS, which just shocks your stimulates your muscles and so on. And obviously, working with the bios, we've realized that there's so many muscles that they've never tapped in before. So it's that alone is a journey on its own, because of, I mean, going to train there previously, I could not walk with a glass full, and now it's something that I can just generally walk with a hot cup of coffee to go and sit, because of obviously the running and working with the bios and the physios that the sports medical service has helped my balance improve on a massive day. So that would be that. I mean, when I go and train there, I go from strength training, core, and we do lately. We started doing a lot of running where I can run and do the normal exercises that the so-called normal people can do on land, the lunges and the burpees and the jumps and all that in the water, because obviously in the water it's much more balanced and so on. And it's like I said, it's been an amazing journey for me, yeah.
I mean, obviously, like so, aqua aerobics plays a massive part of your whole
Yeah,
regime.
yeah. No, definitely does. It definitely does. I mean, the balance, it's insane how much balance when you see yourself improve, because I think the weird part for me is when I see my actual balance improve, from someone who couldn't do something and you thought, oh, it's just life, you can't do it, but being able to do it with ease, it's something else.
It's something that, like as an able-bodied person, you take it for granted. The fact that you can walk from your kitchen to your lounge and you're carrying a cup of coffee and you don't think twice about it. So, it's something that's which in your days, the fact that you're able to go and do something like that now, that's a massive milestone and a huge achievement. And we just take it for granted.
Yeah. The funny part with that is soon as I was able to do that, I would invite people over and I would just like, can I get you a drink? You know?
Oh, my
Uh,
dog fast. What did he move?
yeah, so it's been and also family seeing that improvement as well, you know. So it's been quite an epic journey, I won't lie, you know. Yeah.
I mean, it's inspiring for so many people around you just to, you know, be able to watch and see how you improve from day to day. And obviously, with the strength, with the mobility, strength training, and everything else improving, you must be seeing different sort of times and improvements in your own times and distances.
Yes. I've improved quite a lot. Although there's I think when you saw me, I had just came back from my hernia operation. That was actually I wasn't supposed to be running, but I don't listen to my doctors that much. So so obviously the hernia was sort of like, you know, it kept me out quite a while because I was supposed to ride Berlin and so on. But being able to see myself improve and also run faster, especially on uphills. There's this thing that I will do on uphills where I know for a fact that I run faster than the so-called normal runners. And the shock, you know, sometimes you are a bit naughty where you just want to see someone's expression because there'll be those people who say, I'll stick with you because I know that you will finish the race, you know. But then we get to uphills and I just blow them away. And I call it my party trick. You know, if you're not ready for it, you get, you know, you get shocked, you know. So yeah,
It must be a great feeling inside knowing that you're going past the normal able-bodied people.
it is. I will lie. It is, especially on those uphills because of on uphills. I get it. You know, everyone is supposed to struggle with uphills, but for me, because of I use momentum, it's not the case. And obviously downhill, it's the opposite of that. You know.
Uh, it's an amazing thing, and your attitude towards it's always so cool. So I mean, tell me in your normal stuff, what do you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm trying to become an athlete. So we're trying to make this running into crutches into a Paralympic sport. I've had a couple of disappointments as a kid when you go and you are converted into a wheelchair athlete and they're like you can't run on crutches, you know.
Yeah.
And for me that just didn't make any sense. So at the moment, I've already started working with Miro School who are in Hartbeespoort Sport Dam, and I've also done some stuff with Pretoria School for children with cerebral palsy, you know, to obviously groom and create as many crutch runners as possible because obviously, you know, you can't run alone. You can't run alone. And if you're really serious about making this into a Paralympic sport, then you have to grow the talent and so on. So this is the initiative where, you know, I'm trying by all means to run all these, the Abbott marathons and so on.
Okay.
You know, some of the organizations, I mean, for instance, Tokyo, we're prepared to, you know, to sort of like have partner with me for coaching clinics that side and so on, you know, just to also give me experience because as you know, Tokyo is one of the most advanced countries in terms of reasonable accommodation and so on, and also what they do for their people living with disability. So for me, I'm really committed into making this running thing into a Paralympic sport, which is why currently studying my uh, disability studies at UCT as well. I'm hoping that, you know, I can get as much knowledge into it as well, not just the physical stuff that I need to do. Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredibly exciting thing that's happened for you with the opportunity for UCT. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Obviously it was a bit of a difficult one to get into because I had to apply via an RPL. But I think soon as I think I knew in 2022 that there was a course called disability studies, and I was like, well, you know, let's try it out. Unfortunately, I didn't have funding at the time. So this year, you know, I mean, last year when I applied and I got in, I was like, you know, there's no way, there's no way two ways about it. I'm definitely gonna do it. It's unfortunately online because the plan was to move to Cape Town and so on. But you know, it is what it is, and it wasn't. Anyway, I think the online thing, yeah, it's more about the course more than, you know, where the course is and so on, and also just being able to study that, and also just knowing more about persons with disability and so on, because I think one of the most interesting subjects that I came across now is disability is actually more of a social thing more than a medical thing, because it has to do more with integration, social integration, than than the medical challenges. So yeah, I'm enjoying it at the moment. It's really a world that that I didn't know existed, as far as the lectures and what it's all about and so on. And I'm hoping that I will obviously use that to do what I do, whether it's running on crutches or advocating for better policies as far as people living with disabilities, and just making the world more accessible. Because I think what we tend to forget is, as we get older, stuff that you were able to do, you no longer cannot do it. All of a sudden you need a ramp. You're no longer as mobile as you used to be, and so on. So we're hoping to inspire such a movement where people will realize that, like, listen, we need to, when we design things, let's design things that are going to be there forever. And obviously, by saying that, it's obviously designing things that you will not have to modify to accommodate somebody else. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, it's obviously it's not, as you say, it's not just about that. It's about a whole movement. It's about thinking about in general for everything. And you also said that there was a plan to move to Cape Town, but now it is going to be online. But it's still going to be impactful. It's not like it's going to be any less impactful.
No, definitely, yeah.
And it's being the voice and the advocate for everyone else like yourself, and making and paving the way for the future for others who are going through similar difficulties and disabilities that they're experiencing.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I realized with this course is, especially when it comes to the so-called disability thing, often it's just the knowledge that people don't have. So if we can just amplify that and make sure that we create a positive way on how people can grasp this message. I mean, I can take it from my own life. Soon as I became an athlete, all of a sudden people listen to me and people understand my disability and so on. And it's no longer a fear, because there tends to be this fear where a person will say, I'm scared to ask him. I actually love how innocent kids are, because you'll be at a mall and the kids will come to you and ask you questions directly, which is, I prefer, because if you ask questions, it means you are willing to learn, unlike running away from it.
Kids have got no filter. They're absolutely beautiful. They just say it exactly. Whatever we're thinking, they're saying. That's the difference.
Exactly. So hence I'm also enjoying with the kids, training them with the coaching clinics and so on. Yeah.
I mean, obviously you are involved in the coaching clinics, and what tell me a little bit more about the clinics and where they are, how people get involved.
Yeah, so at the moment I'm working with Pretoria School and Miro School. We're obviously hoping to roll them out with other schools as well. But the other thing is, now you also have to learn the physios at the schools, because when you go to the schools for children with disabilities, you'll find a whole lot of kids playing football and running on their crutches. And the first fear for the physios or the teachers and so on is, you're going to break your crutches. So now you have to change that mindset and so on. I obviously fortunate enough that I run with different crutches and so on. So we are currently in a process to obviously register my NPO, and just so that we can make these crutches accessible for those kids. Because of just to give you an example, for instance, normal aluminum crutches that people use, and I can even tell there are actually two categories. There are the government hospital ones, which are actually stronger than the ones that you will get at your medical, your fancy medical practitioners and so on. And on the strong ones, I would break about 8 pairs. I'm not talking about 8 crutches, no, 8 pairs, obviously with running and so on. And obviously with the ones that I have, I haven't broken a crutch, and obviously they are super amazing, made of carbon fiber, and they look after my shoulders and as well. So I'm hoping that with the NPO, we can team up with your Mamelodi Sundowns, and I am currently speaking with Mamelodi Sundowns to see if they can't adopt one of their schools and maybe just start a amputee football type of a thing. It doesn't have to be amputee, but I know that in the US and in Europe, amputee football is quite a thing. I mean, the guy that won the Puskas Football Awards, the guy that won the most beautiful goal in 2023, is a guy with an amputee leg. So there's definitely a market there, and children love football, children love sports in South Africa. So it's the response has been amazing from the teachers and the school and so on. We will be the plan is obviously to do something with the Royal Bafokeng Holdings. They are probably the first people that I said they are they'd be willing, and obviously I've not taken Jackie, my manager from a Nedbank running club in Pretoria, but she's been open to the idea to say, listen, if you want to bring the kids over to where we have our club runs, just arrange, and it's something that we could do. So even Nedbank themselves, it's been quite a warm receptive to that, which just helps you as a person as well, knowing that there's just that.
So, Ipeleng, you spoke about Nedbank, and obviously you run for Nedbank Running Club. We know that Nedbank is countrywide, and obviously, you see a lot of the elites that are involved. But it's not a club for elites. It's a club for everybody. It's a club they've got in all the provinces. So, tell me a little bit more about running for Nedbank, why you run for Nedbank, and how Nedbank gets involved with you.
So my first race that I ran was obviously Two Oceans. Richard? Oh, you're still there. Okay, sorry. All right. So my first race that I ran was obviously first major race where you were trending and people knew about you, was Two Oceans in 2018, where I was running for the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, and obviously Nedbank sponsored the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund and so on. So that's how the relationship started. I think I got my running shoes from them and so on. And I was paired with Gerda to do a whole lot of the interviews after thingy, and she whispered and said, "Why don't you come to Nedbank and so on?" And I spoke to Nick, and it was amazing. They took me in, and I was treated like an elite athlete, getting full support, for the nutritions and so on. So it's really been a journey, to run and be part of the Nedbank running club supported, or the elite athletes and so on. And also just being given space to improve. I love the fact that it's not just, Ipeleng runs for us and that's it. No, you are in an environment where you have to improve. You have to improve. So that also goes a long way. And not just that, I think I also appreciate the fact that Nick has given me, the support to say, listen, we will help you where we can, as far as you starting this running thing on crutches and so on. So at the moment, it's just a matter of me, arranging that the kids, obviously with logistics, it's a bit of a problem, but Jackie, who's the Nedbank Gauteng North manager, has obviously invited me and the kids to obviously come on a Saturday or whenever, just so that the children can also experience that environment, because it's something else. I mean, we've been working on trying to run a couple of races where we want to include where maybe we can have some of the kids running there and so on. At the moment, the kids are still learning, the technical side of it and so on. So obviously we're trying to find races that would, be willing to host some of the kids, even if it's a kilometer or 800-meter, where you have these kids on crutches, or even, we also don't want to separate them. But obviously, you know, because I run on crutches, and my goal with running on crutches is to grow that. We want to start having like an environment where, you know, whether it's coaching clinics for the races, or even at the end of the race, maybe just have bit of couple of minutes for them, where just before the race about to, you know, where the elite starts coming in, where these kids can have like a mini race like they do overseas with those, you know, the kids for the 3-year-olds and so on. So yeah, it's a conversation that I am having with some of the races at the moment. I must say the delay is on my side as well, because now you have to provide logistics. How do these children run and so on? So you literally now have to create policies, you know, and, you know, some kind of a structure for this as well. So which is, I'm hoping that the UCT thing will really come through and help in terms of that, you know. But yeah, at the moment, yeah, I'm enjoying working with the kids.
I mean, it's a great thing that the fact that it's not only that you're improving your own stuff, and it's fantastic that Nedbank have come on board and given you their support as a club and as a structure, like you were saying with the nutrition, etc., etc. So it does make a massive difference. But it's also the fact that you're trying to help others. You're not only helping yourself whilst you're doing this, you're helping so many others at the same time, and realizing that, you know, just because you are born like that or an accident happened and you are now like that, it's not the end of the world. You know, there are opportunities that you can experience and you can still do amazing things. I think, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what you've got to be proud of, the fact that you are not sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. You're out there making a difference.
Yes, no, definitely. And we're also trying to install that same mentality on those kids, you know, because I always feel I almost feel offended when I see guys begging on the street corners, you know, whether they are disabled or normal. But especially more when they are disabled. I mean, first approach is obviously not to scream at the guy and so on, but I will obviously try and help them and so on, you know, try and ask them, don't you want to run? Don't you want to do something like that? Because for me, I don't like people living with disability being portrayed that way. You know, I would like to see us really winning and just doing, not winning, but you know what I mean, just progressing through life, you know? Yeah.
And you know that's the thing. You don't want to be viewed in a different light. You want to be
Yes.
viewed the same way, and you don't want people to feel sorry for you. Like you said to the kids, at least the kids come and ask you the questions. They want to find out more. They're not shy to ask.
No, the kids don't ask. The kids don't have filter. Hey, they go straight and ask. Yeah.
You gotta love it. So I mean,
Yeah.
what's next on the agenda? Talk to me. What's the next big one?
Two oceans. I'm hoping for a good two oceans this year. We're working on, you know, the difficult stuff. Obviously, I'm running the 21, so the camber on the mountain. That's my worst fear, because you know, it fights against your app ad adapters. So I need to fix that. We're strengthening that. And Berlin, we hoping. Well, I've got my entry for Berlin rolled off over to this year. So Berlin will obviously be my main marathon, where we're hoping to do a coaching clinic in Germany as well. Yeah.
Okay, so when you say the 42.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
The plan, I think from next year, we're hoping to do 2 or 3 of the world marathon majors, you know, because of, you know, I'm lucky enough that my uniqueness gives me an opportunity to speak to those guys, and also to get entries for those races and so on. I will be honest, it's a bit much more easier for me to get an entry as opposed to you, you know.
You got to maximize those opportunities. Don't worry about it. Don't apologize for it. Just abuse the fact that you can still do it.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the thing
yeah.
is, when you do go out there, so many people will see it and so many people will take notice of what you're doing. You know, so you've got the opportunity to be that voice and to carry it through and to carry the message that you want.
No, definitely.
So just, I mean, Ipeleng, just in closing, it's been beautiful chatting to you. You know, we obviously, this is going to be going into our Modern Athlete magazine in for our March issue, and we appreciate your time. I look forward to catching up with you at another event. But a message from yourself to others that might similar boat. It doesn't necessarily have to be a disability in terms of body, or it could be mind. It could be just the guys are struggling from a mental side of things. Economy is tough, so people, depression is also something that's very real at the moment. So, what is your message to others that are feeling sorry for themselves, or feel like they're in a bit of a spot?
Beat yourself. If you can beat yourself, if my thing when I started my journey, obviously trying to lose weight, it was probably like my lowest point of my life, and I told myself I need to beat myself, and I think if anyone can just bring the best of themselves by beating their previous selves, if you can go on and say, okay, yesterday this was where I was, but today you need to beat yesterday. That's my message for the public, and everyone else and all the modern day viewers.
It's been an absolute privilege, and we're very blessed, and thank you for inspiring us. And I'm sure you're going to be inspiring so many more of our readers, and they're going to love looking forward to it and reading it and listening to the interview.
And thank
Yes, I mean, obviously, we really look forward to the readers, following your journey, tracking you, where you're going, watching you in Cape Town, watching you in Berlin, and just continue to be inspired by you. So thank you so much for your time. Thanks for inspiring us. We'll also put all the details of where people can get hold of you, where they can help, where they can contribute, etc., etc. Companies want to get involved, businesses, individuals, wherever they want to use. So we'll put that all into the article as well.
Richard, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Dude, I look forward to it. And Crazy Legs, we'll see you soon, but smash oceans.
Thank you. Cheers, Richard.
Take care, boss. Cheers, bye-bye.